What is going on, everybody? Good Friday night. It is November 22nd. Hell, this is the last Friday before Thanksgiving, if you can believe it or not. Welcome in, everybody, to Smack Talk here on the Sports Kid Wrestling Facebook page and Wrestle Binge by Sports Kid YouTube channel. Rick Ucchino, SP3, and the man in the middle with the beautiful mustache, the wrestling legend himself, Dutch Mantell, the man who got a shout out on College Game Day this week. How about that?
I did, and that was. And you know what was so good about it? He talked about the Kansas Jayhawks, me and Bobby Jaggers, and then he picked Kansas versus Utah or some BYU, I think.
BYU, yeah.
And they beat them. And BYU was undefeated, and Kurt Herbstreit and Cody were the only one to get that right. And
now, how much did you pay Cody to make that drop for you there on national television?
It wasn't that expensive, but he did a good job on it. And next week he's on
one of
Jimmy
the Tonight
Fallon
shows.
show?
Yeah, one of the Tonight shows. Yeah,
Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay. Man's everywhere.
Jimmy Fallon. It's a night show.
One of the Jimmys. It's a late night show with Jimmy. He's going to be on it.
I get those Jimmys confused. It's late night. Yeah. It's a night show with Jimmy Fallon.
All right, we got a lot to talk about here, guys. We got Cody Rhodes, the aforementioned Cody Rhodes. He's all pissed off. Kevin Owens is even more pissed off, which only further enraged Cody Rhodes, who then took it out on Carmelo Hayes, who does not know when to keep his damn mouth shut. We have a semifinal matchup. We have a semifinal matchup now set for the Women's United States title tournament, which is going to make Dutch Mantell very happy. He gets to talk about Chelsea Green tonight. And then, of course, let's just start where the show ended here, folks. We have a fifth man for Survivor Series, Bloodline versus Bloodline. And boy, oh boy, things are going to be very interesting come next Saturday because CM Punk is going to be on the same team as Roman Reigns and the rest of the OG Bloodline. Paul Heyman coming to save the day for the OGs tonight there, Dutch Mantell.
Rick, I want you to tell the story that you told me and said right before we went on the air.
Well, okay, so the main event is going on, right? The main event segment is going on, and Solo is spewing his BS and saying, "Hey, I love all y'all. We all need to unite behind me, and we could run WWE for decades, and this, that, and the other thing." And I'm like, boy, it'd be great if Paul Heyman just came out here and shut his ass up. And then that's exactly what happened. And I'm sitting here going, it would be great if he would just announce CM Punk as the fifth guy. And then boom, like everything laid out. It was a likely scenario, but I'm sitting here and I'm going, please let this happen. Please let this happen. Please let this happen. And then it played out exactly as it pictured in my mind. And it was just a perfect ending to the show. And then of course we get that great stare down at the end between Punk and Roman as things are going on. And Roman's like, I don't know about this. Punk don't know about this. But then they get that sick shot of the spear and the go to sleep at the same time. Dutch, this was a really, really well executed close to the show. And now we know who the 5-man teams are going to be.
Well, I'm going to comment on what you said. You said you had this vision of this happening, and then it happened. I knew Paul Heyman was going to be in there, but since I don't watch Raw, CM Punk has moved off my radar. So I didn't even think CM Punk. But I knew Paul Heyman would be there. It was really one of the better segments that I've seen on SmackDown this year because they put it together fine. And I'll say one thing about the Sokoa outfit. And all of them, they love the color black, don't they? Please, somebody wear red or blue or pink or something, but they're all wearing black. But anyway, talking about the show, I think the whole show it advanced a lot of things that needed to be advanced because we're close to the pay-per-view, like 8 days away, and they advanced a lot of those things. I enjoyed the show tonight, and when I say I enjoyed the show, it has to be a pretty decent show.
That's for sure. You are a pretty tough critic. That is one thing for sure. And look, part of the reason why you weren't thinking of CM Punk is, one, he is a Raw superstar. But two, we have not seen him since Bad Blood. He took time off. Hell, he earned it after the Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre for one. But 2, he wasn't going to be involved with the Saudi Arabia show. That's just something that he is not going to do in his time in WWE. So he took several weeks off. There were reports he could appear at Survivor Series. Heck, that is the 1 year since his return to the company. This is in a big way. And somebody in the chat, NASCAR fan 24, saying, why CM Punk? That was disappointing. I don't think it's disappointing. I think it's a far better option. I think it's a far better option than the telegraphed Seth Rollins angle. Because it's like the second that Big Bronson Reed shows up, SP3, last Friday, we're thinking, okay, obviously they might be telegraphing this. It's going to be Seth because he was so enraged and he wants to fight Bronson Reed that he's going to do something that he said he'd never do again, and that's team with Roman Reigns, right? I'm sorry, that's not enough. That would not have been enough for me. His hatred for Bronson Reed over a few month feud would not be enough for him to go back on a promise that he made to himself for everything that he and Roman Reigns had put themselves through, right? Like that would not have been a good enough reason. At least with CM Punk. And I know there's no love lost between Roman and Punk. You got Paul Heyman, the wise man, who called in a favor. That is good enough for me, and it gets Punk involved with Roman Reigns here and sets up a lot of options down the line.
I don't know what Paul Heyman has been eating. He looked like he gained about 50 pounds. He's got to be 300 pounds walking out there. My God. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but go ahead.
This was actually well set up back in July. I think it was July in Chicago, like June or July in Chicago. They did the whole segment with Punk where the bloodline came out and Paul Heyman asked Punk to save me, take me with you. And Punk basically called out the bloodline, insulted Solo Sikoa, was about to fight him until Cody Rhodes kind of made the save and had his back. So you can go back to that if they want to use their own kind of on-screen narrative, and they can go back to that. And he said that he would take him with him, or he would have his back then. He still has his back now, and it's a built-in kind of relationship. And it accomplishes a bunch of different goals. You get CM Punk, who's probably the third biggest star in the company behind Roman and Cody, into the big main event matchup at Survivor Series, the 1 year anniversary of his return to the company. You also are furthering the CM Punk Seth Rollins issue, because who's to say that it was enough that Rollins lost to Bronson Reed because of Solo Sikoa on Monday, and that all he was waiting for was Monday Night Raw this week to tell the bloodline, I'm going to be on your WarGames team. But now that spot is filled because CM Punk has taken it. So it furthers the Punk and Rollins issue. It furthers, you can get more out of the Rollins and Bronson Reed issue because he's not in the WarGames matchup. And it's going to play out where Bronson Reed is probably going to feud with one of the top faces on Monday Night Raw coming out of this, either Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, or CM Punk. So it accomplishes so many different things. And you get CM Punk and Roman Reigns, one of the money matchups that they're not going to do anytime soon. They could tease it a little bit by having them on the same team here.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, and this is why we have you on the panel here, SP3. I completely forgot all about that save me, take me with you moment from earlier in the spring. So yeah, and this is Triple H, to his credit, he doesn't forget a whole lot, right? They've had to do some retconning and here or there with the Bloodline story over the last 4 years, but if he plants a seed, no matter how small, normally he plans on coming back to it at some point down the line. And this is an excellent example of this. And I know that there are people in the chat who are saying, I thought it was going to be The Rock. The Rock is currently filming the live action Moana movie. The first one. So like the sequel, the animated sequel just came out or is about to come out. And he's already filming the live action version of Maui. And you can see those photos. They're up online. Not bad. Honestly, completely. No, it looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. But so The Rock is tied up. He's a little bit busy. So if it wasn't going to be Seth, honestly, and if it wasn't going to be Cody, CM Punk. That's a great pull. It's a great. Did you think Punk? I thought Punk as an option. Yes, a hopeful option, and I was afraid they were gonna go lazy and go with Seth. I'm happy that they went with CM
this was
Punk.
the right choice, and it got a big reaction.
Yes.
The roof came off that building in Salt Lake City when Heyman said, "Ladies and gentlemen," it was a thunderous pop, and then for CM Punk, it was a thunderous pop. His music, and then for the stare down between Punk and Roman, it was another thunderous pop. We got 3 huge pops at the end of this show. And that's what it's all about. The fans in the building are telling you this was the right move. So this is the right thing to do for WarGames. I have no issues with the Bloodline WarGames. I just have an issue with the rest of the Survivor Series card or the lack thereof.
I was going to say there's 3 matches booked right now. Right?
Exactly.
3.
And only one of them has been built well. And we're talking about it right now.
That's good enough.
I mean,
not when the show is next Saturday, Dutch.
I don't give a crap when it is.
Okay,
this last match is strong enough to handle it. So
1 match show then.
It could be.
I don't know if I agree with that. A one match show for one of your big 4. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think they should be going kind of all out for this. I am curious though, SP3. I know we're a SmackDown show here, but what's the big beef between Damian Priest and Gunther for you?
It's probably Gunther's worst feud since he's been in WWE on the main roster, because it's completely against who Gunther is as a character. He's the ring general. He stands up. He's not a cowardly heel, and that's what he's been in this rivalry. That whole segment on Monday pissed me off. Still pisses me off.
Was that where he went in there? Is that when Gunther was laid out?
Yes, where he came up with a whole. Thank you, Dutch. He came up with a whole plan when Damian Priest is 10 feet away. Then he tried to sneak up on Damian Priest and got beat up. Gunther should never start a fight with a babyface and then lose straight up to that baby.
Did Damian Priest then pull a chair up and talk to him or something? That's what I saw. But I said, who in the hell come up with this? I didn't like that at all.
All right, I'm gonna have to. Full disclosure, I did not see Raw this week, so I got to go back and get caught up. So that's why I was genuinely curious. I wasn't ready to debate you on anything. I just wanted your opinion on it.
Okay.
You need to do your job. You need to watch Raw.
Well, yeah, I know, Dutch. I've been busy this week.
I don't watch Raw.
I've been busy this week. All right.
I
prioritized sleep on Monday. I desperately needed it. I've been doing that a lot more in my life, and I'm a lot happier. Let me tell you. We had our opening match tonight. Women's United States Tournament opening matchup, triple threat match. Chelsea Green, Bianca Belair, and Blair Davenport.
Who won that match?
Chelsea Green did, because it turned into a one-on-one matchup. About toward the end of the match here, we see the big Jumbotron there in Utah pops up, and we see Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair's tag team partner, who has been laid the F out. She is sprawled out on top of a broken windshield of a car. Bianca, obviously concerned, leaves the match. That opens up Chelsea Green to hit an unprettier on Blair Davenport. She gets the 1-2-3 to advance in the finals. And I'll tell you what, this was a Utah crowd that was very happy, Dutch, to see Chelsea Green get the win. Did you care how she won it, or just happy she won it?
I'm just happy she won it. So she's the star in the making, and she's going out there, and they may be directing her a little bit, but that's her. That's what she's going to do. And I like the dress she wore out there. I did a wedding with her when I was with TNA, where she got left standing at the altar. Oh, it was hilarious. And we drug it out as long as we could. And she was all heartbroken, and she was still in her dress 2 weeks later. We were still talking. She had to come out of the room, and she's still crying 2 weeks later. So, but that got her over with me anyway. So.
SP3, what did you think? What did you think of the match heading up to the finish? SP3.
I thought this was another instant of a women's United States Championship tournament matches kind of exceeding my expectations. I thought the three ladies, they worked pretty well with each other. It wasn't like a great match or anything like that, but it was good. It was good enough. It did what it needed to be. Got a good reaction from the crowd. The crowd was behind Chelsea at the end, so it made sense to give her the win. And I like the angle with Jade Cargill. I would like it if they do an actual good whodunit storyline, because it's been a while since we've done that in any wrestling promotion has done a good whodunit storyline. I think the last one was NXT with who attacked Malachi Black or Aleister Black. I think that's the last time they did a good whodunit storyline. So if they can do that of who attacked Jade Cargill, it can mean something, and maybe it's the payoff for finally Jade and Bianca. But I mainly saw it, and I was like, oh, that's how they're going to get Bayley into WarGames.
Yeah, and that was the thing, right? So this is widespreading ramifications other than just the fact that it allows Chelsea Green to get a win over Blair Davenport and move on the United States tournament. Now, what it does is they need a replacement for Jade's match, the semifinals in the other United States Championship matchup that's being filmed tonight. So spoilers will be out by tomorrow morning on who is going to be, who's going to be replacing her. Don't know if that mystery person is going to win. I'm pretty sure they have the entire SmackDown roster in this tournament, other than Nia Jax. So it's going to be interesting to see who they come up with. Maybe somebody from NXT. I'm interested to find out. But also, it opened up a spot for WarGames. And much like CM Punk, and this is no disrespect to Jade Cargill, because I would love to see what she could have done in that match, but much like CM Punk being a better option as far as the storyline standpoint than Seth, I kind of feel the same way about Bayley, because now you can insert Bayley into this WarGames match, and it's, well, okay, now she's on the same team with Io Sky. That's going to be interesting, considering the history that they've had with each other over the past year plus. And we also had that backstage segment tonight where a very distraught Bianca Belair is getting into an ambulance with Jade Cargill. You have Bayley, who is down there with Naomi, looking genuinely concerned, and basically Bianca told her to F the hell off. And now you're going to have Bayley and Bianca on the same team. And one of the things that I've loved the most about these two, these two hated each other when Bayley was the lead in Damage Control. And now that Bayley turned babyface, Bianca has not cared, Dutch. She does. It's not the old days of, oh, you're a good guy now and I'm a good guy, so we love each other and everything's great and all is forgiven. No, does not matter. Bianca has hated Bayley since day one, and she still hates her. So now this is an interesting dynamic with Bayley, presumably anyway, sliding into Jade Cargill's spot at WarGames.
See, I don't know all that background, so let's take it from my vantage point. I liked it, and now because there was the chemistry was right about it. I don't know, and I don't even have to know the background. That's all I got to know, and then somebody else can fill me in. But they had a good match, and usually the girls 3 ways, they're not all that concise and there's not a lot of precision. This had all that. I thought these girls worked very, very well together. So, and even though I didn't know the story, it's just, to me, it's just a 3-way female match. But I kind of found myself watching it and enjoying it, and they did well with it. Yeah. So now, since you've told me that, now I know the context behind it.
Yeah. And look, I thought this was a good showing tonight for Blair Davenport, who has struggled a bit since she came up to the main roster, especially her matches with Naomi. I mean, those two just did not mix very well, and she just did not look like she had much confidence when she was wrestling early on. She took a little bit of a break. This is the first time we've seen her in a while. I thought this was her best showing by far on the main roster, so I'm happy for her. We got LA Knight defending his United States Championship tonight against Santos Escobar. They are pulling the Ferris Bueller. 9 times these gentlemen have wrestled so far in 2024. When you consider dark matches and multi-man matches, I believe
it was like 46. Oh my God.
I mean, they met. These guys met in the King of the Ring tournament, the Money in the Bank qualifier. This is the second time that LA Knight has defended his United States Championship against Santos Escobar. That said, good match. But the story here for me was about Shinsuke Nakamura. We get another one of these great video packages that WWE had been putting together with him, with the subtitles, letting him speak in his native language and really kind of get the inflection on his promos. Delivers this sinister message, calling LA Knight insecure, desperate for fan adulation, doesn't want to, he's scared to lose everything that he's worked so hard to capture this late in his career. And he says, look, this is the beginning of the end for LA Knight. Knight beats Escobar, counters the Phantom Driver into the BFT to retain the championship. And then afterwards, Nakamura takes out LA Knight, throws him into the ring post several times, and then hits the Kinshasa from behind. SP3, what did you what are you making of the latest iteration of Shinsuke Nakamura now that he's back? Not a lot of character shift from the last time we saw him. For me, it's going to be all about, okay, are they actually going to put some merit behind him and let him win some damn matches?
Yeah, like I saw that promo and I was like, in a vacuum, this is good. But I'm sorry, I stopped being in a vacuum with Shinsuke Nakamura a long time ago, and I'm just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe anything you say, and I don't know if I can get invested into anything until you actually win one of these matches, because it's the same style of promo he was doing before. All I could remember was the feud with Seth Rollins that went on for months, and he never won the world championship. The feud that went on with Cody Rhodes for over a month, and he never got a win over Cody. Like, it's just like I have PTSD. You burned me once, shame on you. You burned me twice, that's shame on me. You ain't gonna burn me again. So I'm not getting invested, and he needs to actually win this rivalry for me to get invested in a Shinsuke Nakamura feud again. And I love Nakamura. I've been a fan of his since New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I've been burned way too many times with Nakamura and them not really switching up his character, just switching up his look a little bit. And his look looks great, but they did not switch up. They did not make enough changes to the character for me to be like, oh, this is different. This is unique. I'm going to get invested despite being burned so many times. It just looks like a different variation of the same character he was doing before. So I don't believe it. And I'm also annoyed that I had to see LA Knight versus Santos Escobar, and it was not better than any of their matches that they had previously. It was just a match. It happened. It was there. But how did the match with Berto stand out more than this match with Santos Escobar, who's supposed to be the leader? Oh my God, Legado del Fantasma is DOA. It's dead. It's over. Send them on the Ferris wheel with Giovanni Vinci and everyone else and Apollo Crews, because like, y'all not using them right. So y'all best not use them at all.
Hey, we saw Giovanni Vinci tonight. Anybody see him? It was a Where's Waldo moment. Anybody see him? Going once?
He was backstage.
Yeah, he was backstage. He was talking to Carmelo Hayes before Carmelo Hayes popped off. Anyway, good eye. Anywho, yeah, look, the thing that's giving me hope for Shinsuke this time around, and it's not a lot of hope, but this isn't a world title feud. If this was a world title feud, I would have zero hope whatsoever for Shinsuke Nakamura, because whether it's Vince or Triple H, they both had opportunities to fully get behind Shinsuke Nakamura on the main roster and give him a world title victory, and on multiple occasions, mind you, and they both ran the exact same playbook with the guy, which was, we'll give him 3-4 title matches, whatever it was, and then he loses every single solitary time. And the whole thing was with Seth and attacking his back, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to do it on my time, and then we're going to do it when it's going to be a last man standing match, no holds barred, this, that, and the other thing. And the match was great. I was there live in person. It was fantastic. I thought I was going to be watching Shinsuke Nakamura win a world title that night. And when it didn't happen, I'm like, it's never happening. It's never happening. But could he beat LA Knight for the United States title, Dutch Mantell?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I think he could.
And he should. Hey, I've never been a Nakamura fan because they didn't do anything with him. He was just taking up space and time on the TV. That's all. And I wasn't really in his character. He was just a Japanese guy that had very little substance to him. But now, and I like the way they shot this, And I liked the way they was right in on LA Knight's face, and he was looking at the guy. Then he looked back there. There he is. So we know he's coming in. But he noticed him before the match was over, and then he moved a little closer. As soon as he hit the 1, 2, 3, he was in there. But we knew he was coming. So I do like that. And I think this does have a little bit of a room to grow if they want it to, and see what we can get out of it, because he's a hell of a talent. And I think they may have turned the page on him, which I hope they have. But I thought anything LA Knight does, it's entertaining as hell anyway. So, and we'll see what they can do with it.
Yeah. Anything he does is going to be over with the fans. The best part about this is that LA Knight finally has an actual feud for the United States Championship. This is the first time since his title reign started in August that he has his own feud instead of him jumping on the Andrade and Carmelo Hayes feud. He has his own feud for the United States Championship. That is a positive. Another negative, though, I don't think these guys are going to have a good match together. I just don't. Just knowing their styles, I think we've all, despite being fans of people or not, I think we've all seen enough of LA Knight. We have all seen enough of Shinsuke Nakamura. What in their style says this will go well or be a great matchup? It might be fine. It might be solid, but it ain't going to be great.
No, wait, but that is a negative attitude. You should say.
I'm just saying. I like all these guys, but Nakamura is at the point of his career. He needs someone that's going to have a very physical, hard-hitting matchup with him, and I don't see that from LA Knight. That's not his style.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. When they have just a barn burner, it's an 11. Hey, it could be Dave Meltzer. Talk about it. It could be a 12.
I will be in here and I will be on this show and say I was wrong. I was wrong.
Okay.
I apologize to Dutch Mantell. I apologize to Rick Ucchino. I apologize to all the Patreons or individual subscribers watching Smack Talk. I apologize if they go out there and have a match of the year candidate. But when they go out there and have a fine match, I will be here and I would want an apology back from all of you.
Wait a minute now. That's putting a stipulation to a stipulation. Wait a minute, I'm not agreeing.
Or just say, you know what, you know what, SP3, you were right. That's all I want to hear.
No, but I've already told you that on several things.
Yeah.
I'm always down to give you props when they're warranted. AC Knight saying, I think this is supposed to be more about LA Knight than Shinsuke. Potentially, yeah, for sure. LA Knight needs bigger names to beat. Again, I'm with SP3 on this one. I'm just glad he's got his own feud. He's kind of doing the open challenge thing. It was one of those things where it's like, all right, we're gonna build to him winning against Logan Paul, and then we got nothing for him after that. That's kind of
to be a theme in pro wrestling this year. Pro wrestling this year has been, especially in the two major companies, there's been a lot of build up to big title changes and then not knowing what to do with that champion after they win the title.
Okay, Mr. Rick, what was the ratings of SmackDown last week? They were up against that fight. Was it down?
Yeah, they were down.
They were down a little bit. I mean, when 60 million households are watching buffering, you're gonna have. Did
you see the fight?
Hell no, I wasn't asleep.
I actually watched the fight after we were done with Smack Talk last week.
I did too. I watched the last three and a half rounds because it was buffering and I couldn't get the picture. But when somebody said,
I did not have that issue.
You think that was set up? I said, what? Set up? Well, yeah, kinda.
What, the buffering problem?
No, not that.
No,
okay. I was gonna say
actual boxing fights between 58-year-old Mike Tyson and
I was gonna say, what were people expecting? This isn't Rocky Balboa.
No, this is the deal. You tell them it's set up, and they still don't want to believe it. Even with wrestling, you tell them, well, they kind of worked this out. I don't know, man. I've had people tell me this. I don't know. They got mad in this one. I think they really did. So
I mean, I mean, Jake Paul's talking about hell. I'm gonna kill this man, and I don't care. And then like he gets in the match, and he's like, "This guy's 58. I can't uppercut. I can't. I gotta pull my punches, or I'm gonna kill this guy." Like, I mean, man,
he was a standing target in the last 3 rounds for Jake Paul, and Jake Paul could have knocked him out, but he didn't want to knock out a legend.
Look, Rocky Balboa is a great movie, but that shit is so Hollywooded the fuck up.
And to be fair, I don't think Rocky Balboa had a blood transfusion. So
yeah, there's that. There's that.
How many people in the Texas stadium? I heard 70,000. They had that many people?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At least they got to watch some good undercard fights, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah.
I think Logan Paul pushed him Jake Paul pushed him into the ropes. It's almost like he was saying, "Do you want to get paid or not?" Then he come off. Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Then he was eating his glove.
That's what it is. Doing this for money. All right, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Cool boy. Dutch, what do you think about WWE?
But I enjoyed the fight.
What do you think about WWE reportedly wanting to book some kind of an angle between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul at WrestleMania 41?
I like it. Because they can tell a hell of a story even after that. Because now you're going to take their production team, they're going to put all this stuff together, and by the time it gets here, hell, you're ready to see it. So go out there and put on your 10 minutes, do whatever you're going to do, and I think that'll get people tuning in and coming through the turnstile. Where is 41 at?
Vegas.
Las Vegas. They need to do Stone Cold Steve Austin with Mike Tyson in his corner versus Logan Paul with Jake Paul in his corner.
And I think Jake Paul is coming to WWE anyway. Is that his name? The boxer was Jake?
Yeah, Jake Paul.
Yeah. Logan is the okay. I think WWE. Jake Paul, they're going to have him in WWE within the next 6 months.
We'll see.
I'm just wait a minute, Rick. I'm just sitting here, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, this vision comes to me, and I think we're going to see him in WWE within 6 months. I don't know.
All right.
So call me Nostradamus, call me whatever, but I see it coming.
All right. We had Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens tonight doing a pseudo face-off because Kevin was in the crowd. But, man, I thought this was a really good promo exchange between these two tonight. Cody Rhodes extremely pissed off after what Kevin did to Randy Orton. Kevin even more pissed off. And, look, he runs down his entire rationale for why he attacked Cody on his bus, why he turned on Cody and Randy Orton, the catalyst for his anger, and it was what we all believed it to be. The fact that after 4 years of fighting the bloodline, of fighting alongside Cody Rhodes, being there at WrestleMania 39, trying to help him win, and then being there at WrestleMania 40 after he won, after he finished his story, Cody Rhodes turns right around and aligns himself with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. Cody then calls him out on his BS, saying that, look, that's exactly what his rationale is. He says KO has to be a victim. Says in his mind, somebody has to be holding him back, and nobody holds back Kevin Owens other than Kevin Owens. He says the self-sabotage for KO is absolutely next level. He says Kevin Owens is pissed off. He could not pull the trigger on Cody at Bash in Berlin, and then he finally pulled the trigger on the wrong guy. SP3, what did you think of the exchange between these two tonight?
Really well done promo segment. I thought both guys, knew what they wanted to say, delivered their message, and helped progress this storyline. I think the only thing that was missing to kind of put the stamp on this is, I understand, you want to have Kevin Owens kind of play the mind game, say that he's in control of when the match is made. But I really feel like this segment needed the stamp on it of when we're getting that matchup.
Yeah.
Whether it's at Survivor Series, whether it's at Saturday night's main event, I think that this segment needed that. Other than that, I thought both guys really were in the zone, and this was a home run segment. I just needed the final kind of slide into the home plate. It felt like they stopped short of the third base because the outfielder was about to throw instead of going home to score. It felt like a triple instead of a home run. The home run would have been cementing when we're getting this actual matchup, because the vagueness of this all is very weird. It's very weird to me at this point.
I mean, considering what we were talking about earlier, kind of feels like this match should be at Survivor Series, Dutch.
Well, that's what it's leading to. I'm ready for it. I enjoyed it. They really talk to each other like they're in an actual argument. And I mean, you could take these two guys, put them on the street corner. They would say the same thing to each other that they said there. And I think we got to see it at Survivor Series, don't we? Don't they got to pull the trigger? Who is Cody facing?
Right now, nobody at Survivor Series.
He's not versing. This would be the first PLE he's not appearing on if they don't have anything scheduled for him. He's appeared at all 12 PLEs this year.
Now,
and he's wrestled at 11.
There have been reports that these two are due to main event Saturday night main event in New York on December 14th, but hell with that show. No offense to that show. You need these two on Survivor Series. Otherwise, what the hell are you even doing? Like, damn, I don't know. Like, it just seems like a no-brainer to put this on.
They have done a good job with it. So whenever they put it on, it's going to mean something. I would even watch it just to see what they're going to do.
Well,
this feels like one that's going to get announced on social media over the weekend.
Yeah, or it's going to be made official like tonight at the taping or something. Or maybe
if it's for Survivor Series, they're going to announce it on social media. They're not going to wait till the day before to announce a Cody Rhodes match for a PLE. They're going to announce it on social media so they at least can hype it up on their socials ahead of SmackDown. If it's going to be for Saturday night's main event, then you're right. They probably announce it next week.
Yeah. After the close of this segment, saw Cody saying, look, he wants to fight. It's coming, whether it's at tonight, Survivor Series, Saturday night main event. He'll let KO let him know when he wants to go. KO says, look, you're right. I did pull the trigger on the wrong guy. What I did to Randy Orton, I love Randy Orton. I hate you. So there is no line that I am not willing to cross. And Cody Rhodes said, you know what, bro? Bet. Feeling is mutual. Let's see. We had the after this, Cody Rhodes is still pissed off. He wants to fight somebody. He comes backstage and, man, Carmelo Hayes. You would think at some point, SP3, this man would know when to shut the fuck up. And he just does not know when to shut the fuck up. He decides to pop. I don't even know what he said to Cody. Like, he said something to Cody.
Like, about time someone told him about himself.
Can you translate that for me? What the hell does that even mean?
Basically, someone told him the truth for once.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate that. Cody was like, you know what? F you, dude. He basically shoves him into a wall. Nick Aldis separates the two of them, and Cody was like, you need to reassess your first-round draft pick, which was a nice callback because nice to remind everybody that Carmelo Hayes was taken pretty high in that WWE draft. That sets up a match between these two for next Friday, which will be filmed later tonight. We got a tag team match. Bayley, Naomi versus Tiffany and Candice. And look, shocker, this one, much like all the women's segments for the last 2 weeks, have ended in absolute chaos. It was a DQ finish. Nia gets involved. She chucks Naomi into the steel ring steps. Then we get a fight ensuing before we get Io Sky coming down to save the day. First of all, she's able to clear the ring, but then it's Raquel and Liv who come down and they take out Io. And then Rhea, at least until Heyman and Punk showed up, got the pop of the night. She comes down looking like a badass with the kendo stick. She clears the ring. She helps Bayley up. This was the clear nod that Bayley is going to be taking Jade Cargill's spot in WarGames, which again sets up all the interesting dynamics with Bayley having to team with Bianca and having to team with Io. But man, Dutch, Rhea has just emerged as the face of the women's division in WWE. Like it's not really close with anybody else right now.
I liked her mask, her covering for her face. It gave her a different look too.
She's the only person who pulls off that mask. Like in the history of WWE, she's like the only one that doesn't look like a dork wearing it.
Hey, Cody has unbashed.
No, fair. All right, fair. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
I enjoyed this segment too, because at least it made sense. Even if you go back and put it together in context, it all makes sense. And of course, you're shooting for the pay-per-view in 8 days. So they're pulling all these pieces and piecing it together so it all fits neatly on the pay-per-view. And I think it's going to work. I enjoyed it. Good show. One of the better shows I've seen in like a month or two, because they had a little bit of a time there. Their shows, to me, didn't make sense, and they were just getting through it. But now they got direction, and I think they know where they're going now. They knew where they were going before, but just didn't know how to get there. I think now they know how to get there.
SP3, what did you think of everything tonight with the ladies?
This was well done. I thought Monday with the Rhea Ripley return was well done as well. Rhea Ripley got a thunderous pop. Like her being as over as she is and the rest of the division being where it is, it's the gap is ridiculous. Like without Becky Lynch around, without Charlotte Flair around, the gap between Rhea Ripley and everybody else in the women's division is kind of crazy. And it's literally WWE's own doing, because Bianca Belair, Io Sky could probably be close, but they haven't been positioned the way Rhea Ripley has. I'm so annoyed by the women's WarGames setup. It just feels like they did not think about having a women's WarGames until last week. They figured, they figured
20 minutes ago.
Like 20 minutes ago. Like they were like, oh yeah, we should probably, you know what? We've been focusing on this whole bloodline storyline for months. We should probably do something for the women too. Yeah, let's do it. These people are feuding with these people. These people just feuded with each other. But oh well, they'll be a team too, and we'll team up a couple of baby faces over here. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. There's a women's war game, and it's one of those toys where the arm is like this on top of the head and stuff, and the leg is an arm. And stuff like that's how they put together the women's war game. It's like a G.I. Joe toy that fell apart, and it's a 6-year-old putting it back together.
Our final segment that we haven't talked about yet revolves around the WWE Tag Team Championships. We had a backstage segment earlier in the night that featured Johnny Gargano talking with the Motor City Machine Gun, saying, "Hey, look, I know what Ciampa did. Sucks. He's pissed off. He wants a tag team title shot. Just give us the tag team title shot, and then, that'll cool him off, and everything will be all copacetic." The Street Profits show up, and they're like, nah, that don't work for us. Motor City Machine Guns are all like, hey, yeah, we want to be fighting champions. You kind of screwed them out of it, so we're kind of siding with them. They kind of feel like they need to, get the shot before you guys. And then Dawkins calls Ciampa a snake in the grass or something like that. Anyway, we end up getting Montez Ford versus Tommaso Ciampa later on in the night, a one-on-one matchup. This was basically the main event, the final match of the night. A great spot for both of these guys. I'm a big fan of both guys. I thought this was a really hard-hitting match. I loved the finish to this match with Ford jumping off the top rope, eating a big knee, which he sold tremendously. Looked like he was out on his feet. And then he's able to counter the fairy tale ending, flip over, and hit in a deep high stack on Ciampa for the 3 count. Ciampa pissed off. He attacks Ford afterwards. Then we get Angelo Dawkins hitting the ring, pulling his best Jake Paul. I loved him getting in the ring and just like laying in the haymakers and going the full boxer mode there. Motor City Machine Guns come down. Johnny Gargano comes down. Everybody's pissed off at Ciampa. Ciampa shoves Johnny Gargano down again and tells him to pick a side. I thought this was a good showcase tonight, SP3, for both Montez Ford and Tommaso Ciampa. I ultimately think that Johnny is going to side. I feel like we're going to get like one of those Finn Balor-esque kind of moments. He's not going to do like the surprise, like Pele kick kind of thing, but I do ultimately feel like Johnny's going to side with Ciampa on this one. But still, I like the direction that this is going.
They kind of set that up with the backstage segment. The backstage segment, Johnny was trying to appease Ciampa, but he was doing it in a way where he's helping out himself, and he's gonna realize that Ciampa is right with all of this, and that he needs to get more on Ciampa's kind of attitude change right now for them to be successful, for them to get their title shot that they've been looking for. I think that this was I really liked this. I really enjoyed all of this. I think that Ciampa actually is showing some character depth, kind of going back to the character that he was in NXT. And it feels like for the first time, the WWE tag team titles actually have a storyline. This is another one where, just like LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura, they finally have a storyline, and it's not the bloodline rules the tag team division. That's basically been the storyline, for the only storyline for the WWE tag team titles since back when A-Town Down Under were champions. So I'm glad to see some type of like long-term storytelling that's progressing week to week with DIY.
Yeah, and not only that, Dutch, it's nice to kind of see the Street Profits actually have a storyline and be a part of a marquee spot on the show. I do get the sense that they're building towards something here for both Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and the team of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And then, the only thing I can kind of nitpick here is like I feel like the Motor City Machine Guns are just kind of there at the moment. They got this big introduction. They win the tag team titles, and then it's just like, okay, we got the titles. Cool. Now we're Johnny's friend. We got the titles and we're Johnny's friend. That's kind of like all they're doing right now with the Motor City.
The Motor City Machine Guns, I think they were just left standing on the corner. And it was just a so outing for them. What's the guy's name? Chris what? What's his last name?
Chris Sabin.
Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah.
Chris Sabin, he can't talk. They're not strong talkers. One is, but Chris is not. So I hope they're going to get behind these guys because they're great in the ring. But I predicted dead on the vine, dead on delivery. I hope the Motor City Machine Guns is going to follow that same path. But I think they're doing a pretty good job here. Now, when you sit down, and like wrestling fans do, they start thinking about this stuff. And the context has to work. It has to work its way out. Now, I think in this situation, I think people can be appeased by it and say, okay, I understand it now, and move on. As long as you don't insult their intelligence.
Yeah.
Or my intelligence, which is 4th grade. So don't.
Eason Walker saying they need to change their music to Ciampa's No One Will Survive. Look, I'm praying for a DIY heel turn. If nothing else, then that music would not fit a heel tag team, and it would be changed. Like it should be changed immediately overnight to something other than whatever the hell.
Who does WWE music?
What is it called? Def Rebel? Is that who it is?
Def Rebel.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's rumors
I think their music is horrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not the only one.
I do.
You're preaching to the choir.
They got a couple of bangers, but not many. Not many. But
when you make 476 theme songs, you should have a couple of bangers at least.
Sure. Yeah.
Like if you shoot the ball 4 million times, you're gonna make one basket.
Yeah, Shaq hit a free throw every now and again. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's how Def Rebel is.
Yeah, why wouldn't WWE open this up and group source it? Say, hey, all you musicians that want to see what you can do, send us what you got and pick it from there. Honestly, you'd got to get some good stuff in there somewhere.
Look, one of the best things that Tony Khan has done with AEW is utilize commercialized music. Like, honestly, like, sure, it costs a pretty penny to do it. So it's not exactly cost effective. But damn, man, if you can't, it's so like a good theme song is such an easy starter to get people on board with you, right? Like there's an instant kind of connection. It could be anything. And then all of a sudden they get more into you. You need that catalyst. You need that starter. Part of the problem with the Royal Rumble the last few years is all these especially the ladies, all these damn songs sound the same and no one knows who the frick is coming out when the music hits. Like there's no instant pop. It's like, who the hell is this one? Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Yay. All right. Yeah. This person. When Punk's music hits, you know it. You know who CM Punk is. You know that song. So I'd like to see them do more of that. Personally, like some of the best moments I've ever had in an arena, and SP3 can attest to this. You got 10,000 plus people losing their damn minds to Final Countdown as Bryan Danielson makes his way to the ring. Like that is objectively a bad song, but
it is not. I will not have you slander the great name of Europe and Final Countdown.
I said objectively. Even Bryan Danielson has called it a horrible song.
I have no objectiveness in this conversation. I will not let you slander the Final Countdown.
But when Tony Khan shelled out the money for that and he came down, like that is one of the best moments of a live crowd you'll ever be a part of as a wrestling fan. Him and his final matchup, him and Jon Moxley just beating the piss out of each other while Final Countdown is still playing. You almost knew it was the last time, and Tony Khan's like, I'm getting every fucking penny that I paid for this. It was great. It's a great atmosphere. I would love to see that kind of stuff more often in WWE. SP3,
or just get someone in-house who's better.
Yeah,
Mikey Ruckus makes some good themes, even without the licensed music.
AEW locked his ass up, and that was smart. What you got going on at True Heel Heat this week, SP3?
Check out the flagship podcast, True Heel Heat, 3:04 tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Miss Chrissy Love, True Draw Josh, talking about this week in wrestling, WWE, AEW. We'll be talking about Punk becoming the fifth man for WarGames. We'll be talking about AEW Full Gear, so join us live for that. And on Sunday, we got our AEW Full Gear review over there on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. So go over and subscribe. We're closing in on 20,000 subscribers. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Help us out. We're like 1,000, more than 1,000 away from our goal for the year.
Dutch. What is your goal?
20,000. We're at 18.9.
Okay.
We're at 18.9.
Well, very good. People go over there and subscribe to Mr. Sid's, what is it? Podcast?
Channel, podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
You've been on there, Dutch. You're a veteran.
Oh, I
You're
did,
an alumni.
but I can't remember that crap. I really can't. Podcast. Hell, everybody and his brother has a podcast. Anyway, but hey, you can check me out, Storytime with Dutch, on all the platforms. You just look for it. I've done 125 of them so far. 125 shows. And if you want to talk to me personally, Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2 L's at gmail.com. And basically, I'm working on my website, getting it straightened out again. And we'll see where that goes. So, hey, if you want to talk to me, Dirty Dutch Mantell at gmail.com, and tell me what you want, and I'll get back to you.
You can follow me on X and over on Blue Sky now, by the way, at Rick Ucchino. There you'll find my conversation with Mercedes Monet that dropped today for Sports Illustrated, the takedown on SI. Great to get a chance to catch up with the woman formerly known as Sasha Banks ahead of what's the pay-per-view tomorrow? Full Gear tomorrow. She defends her TBS championship against Chris Statlander. Looking forward to that matchup. Really good conversation I had with Mercedes this week, so please check that out. Thank you so much. We honestly don't know what the plans are next week, with it being a holiday and a tape show, but hey, we'll let you know. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, everybody.